squamous cell carcinoma. And she came to Best Doctors, which is the company I work for and has subsequently been acquired by Teladoc Health. To have, she lives in Calgary, but she wanted to have her case reviewed by top experts in head and neck cancer, top experts in pathology, to see if her treatment, her planned chemoradiation, was the right thing to do.
I had a lump on my neck, and what happened was we got a biopsy done and it was negative. There were no issues. But my family doctor said, days after that, I got a call, and it was my surgeon. The surgeon said, Ashifa, you need to clear your calendar. No appointments, nothing. Clear it for a few months. This is not going to be a fun treatment. You are going to be living a nightmare.
Ashifa's doctors were searching, doing multiple biopsies in her throat, her tongue, removing her tonsils to try to find where did that cancer originate, and they couldn't find it. The chemotherapy that's used to treat head and neck cancers is often uses what are called platinum-based agents, and those are very toxic. They're ones that cause a lot of side effects, a lot of nausea, are very difficult to go through. And then again, the radiation, instead of just having a focused field of radiation, they were really looking to irradiate a large area of Ashifa's head and neck, hoping to get the cancer wherever it originated because they couldn't find it.
And somewhere throughout that, all of a sudden, it hit me. I've got a Best Doctors policy, and I need to contact them.
At Best Doctors, we take very, very seriously the trust that people put in us. And we recognize that it is absolutely critical always to go to the primary source, always to use the primary data, because misdiagnosis can happen anywhere. So it's not enough to just take a pathology report on face value or a radiology report on face value. We always make sure to collect the primary data ourselves and have our experts review the pathology, have experts in the field reviewing the radiology scans, because that is something that really enables people to feel very confident that misdiagnosis, if it's there, has been identified and that their diagnosis is accurate. The treatment will be there to deliver optimal outcomes.
3 days before the treatment was supposed to start, we got the magic call from Best Doctors. It said, no cancer.
Multiple top pathologists all looking at our slides to confirm that in that lymph node, there was no cancer, that the diagnosis of metastatic cancer was wrong.
The end result is there was no cancer. There is no radiation. There is no chemo.
So, and what Ashifa ends up, what she has is Sjogren's disease, which caused some very, very funny-looking lymphocytes to be in her lymph node, but it was not cancer. So, but why did Ernest invite me to speak here today? The reason is this, is that all of us are looking to improve the access of men and women and children to high-quality medical care. And the potential of virtual care to be able to be a remarkable tool in this mission that we all are engaged in it's remarkable.
We're here today in Jamaica, and a lot of what we're talking about, I think the people as I sat down listening to all these talks, the folks at HIC have done a lot of these things already. And I think, maybe looking at the model that you guys have implemented, I know you've probably gone through some rough and tumble period in building this, because as my own experience is that it's not easy to accomplish what you've done. But I've had some unique experiences in Nigeria. This is where, we need to look at sustainable options. Nigeria is a unique country with about 186 million people in 2016, expected to become the fourth largest country in the world by 2050, with about almost 493 million people. And the GDP is 376 billion, and is considered lower middle income. We've seen a similar graph for many low middle income countries, similar to this, in the course of this talk, where there's still a large percentage of the population that are young. And the healthcare system there is very fragmented. Like as you see, there are 33,000 general hospitals, 20,000 primary care centers, and 59 teaching hospitals. But the healthcare is accessed by only 43% of the population. And that's a problem. And sometimes a lot of the drugs, they are substandard, they are imported from different parts of the world, some are manufactured locally. But so my role was to work with Heart Rhythm Society. I currently serve as ambassador for the Heart Rhythm Society to Africa, about how do we grow the practice of electrophysiology on the continent. And we started a few years ago just with some colleagues where, we first of all tried to define the magnitude of the need and some of the other things that we may be able to do. But a lot of the services currently is limited to implantation of devices. Some of the barriers we saw was the issue of infrastructure and the cost to the patient, as I mentioned before, and the lack of trust in the medical system by the patients, and also the issue of the fear between primary care doctors and cardiologists. I heard that being that they feel they lose the patients to the cardiologists. We face the same issue that primary care doctors were afraid to refer to the cardiologists. Even we face the same issue in the United States. It's the same issue everywhere that they look. But the key is to train people that keep that patient alive first. That's how you can have a patient in the first place.
Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
In case you're just joining us, we are at the Jamaica Pegasus for the Masters of Cardiology event. Stay tuned for more highlights.
When I was a single surgeon here, I would have to treat cases, cardiac cases, general thoracic cases, and there comes a point in time in that when you are the only surgeon, what do you do in relation to getting or training other youngsters to take over from your position? Because of this limited resources, we planned over a number of years to introduce the program, and we finally at the University of the West Indies introduced the DM in cardiothoracic surgery, which involved training. In the first 3 years, the members of this program were exposed to general surgery, and within that 3-year period, they had 6 months in cardiac surgery and 6 months in general thoracic surgery. Then they had the final 3 to 5 years was spent in being exposed purely to cardiac and general thoracic surgery. Now, of course, the opportunity to be exposed to these programs was limited by the number of patients that you operated on, and of course, the number of patients operated on was limited by the resources that were available to you. And fortunately, to increase the resources and the number of patients operated on, I was able to invite teams of surgeons, teams of cardiologists to visit at certain periods of time. We would investigate the patients, and we would do these cases, thus increasing the number available to our trainees. But of course, we felt that the numbers were not significant enough in Jamaica, and we arranged with our colleagues for these youngsters to be trained in facilities in other countries. Unfortunately, with this program, we have established the numbers of cardiothoracic surgeons in Jamaica now is approaching 7, and I will then hand over to our other members of the panel, because their information would increase our what we have available for our graduates.
In terms of GME training or residency training or fellowship training in low or medium resource environments, it's all about partnership. But let me say from the outside that this is not a one-way partnership. It goes in both directions. At Penn Medicine, we have some experience historically in starting a medical school in partnership with the University of Botswana. It's now in its 7th or 8th year. And I would say approximately 1/4 to 1/3 of our medicine residents at Penn actually spend time in Botswana getting a global health experience. And I'm absolutely convinced that we get as much out of this as hopefully they're gaining from our interactions with them. We also send faculty members and have an on-site director in Botswana. The point is, it's about a two-way partnership. We all can learn from each other. And I think that I'm very excited. Dr. Madhu has reached out to us about an interaction in cardiology. I was talking to Dr. Coppola, our chief of cardiology, about about sending both our trainees down here, our faculty down here, but also bringing trainees from Jamaica and the Heart Institute and the rest of Jamaica, for that matter, back to Penn for some training.
So I'm Carol Watson. I run the Cardiology Fellowship at UCLA. And I can tell you, when I took over the fellowship 5 years ago, we sort of reimagined the whole thing. And one of the key principles we put in there was that the world is flat and cardiology is global. So one of the things that was never a part of our fellowship before was a global experience. Since then, we have a elective rotation in Malawi. And again, most of our internal medicine residents go to Malawi, and now some of our cardiology fellowships. We have an ongoing collaboration in Malawi where when we first went over there, we got a grant to take over 3 echo machines. And with that, we were able to quadruple the number of echo machines they had in Malawi. So they now have 4, and we have an ongoing collaboration where they we trained physicians there to read echoes, and honestly, they read echoes better than some of our echocardiographers now, and they send studies back and forth. And so that's been a really fruitful collaboration. We also now have an elective in China. We have a affiliated hospital that we send fellows back and forth with. We have a quarterly Trans-Pacific Cath conference where we take turns. They present a case, we present a case. And it's so interesting hearing how similar the patients are and how similar the procedures are, but then also how different the approach is. And so many of the approaches make a lot more sense. So we're getting as much as they're getting. I agree with you. Making sure we can offer as much as we take is important. And I will be talking to Dr. Madhu about initiating some kind of partnership with his institution, because again, what we take away and what we give, I think, is so important to our trainees, and there's no way you can train a cardiovascular specialist for the future without understanding the global landscape.
Walter Clare from Vanderbilt, and actually mine is more been focused on the undergraduate medical educational aspects of global health and under-resourced areas. So quite frankly, at Vanderbilt, we do not have formal active relationships in global health for our students, but we have a strong program in coordination with our program in public health that allows our students to have a global health experience. They do various exchanges. But in fact, at Vanderbilt, we find ourselves a well-resourced, highly technically oriented academic medical center in the midst of what we call the cardiovascular disease belt of the southeastern United States. And so to some large extent, our experience with under-resourced areas has to do with working with the rural communities in not only Tennessee, but southern Kentucky and northern Alabama. And what we basically have done at the medical student level is to get our students involved in those types of activities, as well as our own medical student clinic, which a lot of universities around the United States are doing now. A little bit of the uniqueness of ours is that we have a collaborative relationship with Meharry, one of our historically black medical schools in Nashville, and we have what we call the Vanderbilt Meharry Alliance. So we do a lot of population health with them. But what I really want to talk to you about for a moment is the fact that we have indeed, with all due respect to what's going on at UPenn and leadership, been focused on this issue of leadership at the undergraduate medical level with our students. About a decade ago, we developed a program in health and wellness for our medical students. And it started out primarily as an activity that involved extracurricular events. And then about 8 years ago, it transitioned, just about a year before I started working with the program, to incorporating narrative writing, mindfulness, public policy, leadership, and conflict management into a curriculum for all of our entering medical students. At Vanderbilt, we've divided our medical school into 4 colleges. Each of the 4 colleges has a couple of mentors. I'm one of the 2 mentors for my college, Chapman College. And so when the medical students enter our school, they're assigned to a college. It's not strictly at random. And they stay in that college until they graduate. And that includes the MD, PhD students. So I have some students who've been with us 7 years. And over the course of those 7 years, we start out with that curriculum, which involves 43-hour sessions during their first year and multiple sessions throughout the remainder of their medical school curriculum. And we do almost everything that you saw in that slide about leadership development in some form or fashion with our students. It's really an introductory level for them. And it's interesting that I've served on visiting committees to a number of other medical schools. One in particular I visited recently, and they had worked in collaboration with us to change their curriculum. And I was unpleasantly surprised to learn that much of the stuff on emotional intelligence and conflict management was not included in their curriculum. And when we evaluated them and we talked to their faculty about the problems they were having with the new change in their curriculum and the relationships that were not going well among their students as they worked in the classrooms, they admitted that they'd missed the ball on that, and that in fact they had to abruptly stop the curriculum, put it in recess for a bit, and go back and teach the students how to interact with each other. Because most of our medical students are in medical school because they have been highly successful individual learners. they have not necessarily learned how to work in teams, and that's where we find most of the conflict.
We now take our final break, but please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Masters of Cardiology event here at the Jamaica Pegasus. Here are more highlights. How did you feel when you got the invite to come to this conference?
I think I was very privileged and honored. I was also, I think, just thrilled at the fact that a conference like this exists. I'm an academic cardiologist, and I go to many conferences, I participate in many endeavors, but not all of them, I think, are, as focused on issues which affect many of us, but not everyone rises to the occasion to try to address it.
For persons watching, what are some of the recommendations you may have to the average viewer about ensuring that they are up to date regarding their cardiovascular health?
So I think one of the important things is doctors are your friends, okay? We talk about a healthy lifestyle, and in general, I think many people, maybe they are aware of it, but I think a lot of people know about the importance of keeping their weight under control. If you have too much weight, you need to lose weight. Even if you are the right weight, everybody needs to exercise, and again, diet, avoiding bad habits like smoking. So there are a lot of those things, but then to also know that there are diseases which can come on which you won't know. You don't know or feel when your blood pressure goes up. You don't know or feel when your blood sugar goes up, when your cholesterol goes up. So there are many things which are hard for you to know, but they can affect you long term. And so don't be afraid of doctors. I know that there are many thoughts about doctors, what they do, what will they do, but we've learned, especially I think in other countries, that preventing disease is the most powerful thing you can do. And as I've said, some of these are invisible things. So I think everyone should, as part of what they do, at least every 1 or 2 years, in a healthy person, at least see your primary care doctor who can screen you. And if they, discover something that needs a cardiologist, we're more, for people who have more disease, then you will get referred to us. But at least make sure you're seeing a primary care physician on a regular basis.
So what was your discussion based on today? What was your topic?
It was a lot of topics today about educational topic and real problem for training physicians here in Jamaica, and another topics about the healthcare system in Jamaica and how to provide the best healthcare for all the patients in here. A lot of technical topics about the cardiology and the advances, the new advances in cardiology in the time being, and how can we deliver and conduct this advances to Jamaica for the time being.
What was your main takeaway from the event, the conference overall?
Yes, sure. Those conferences we are making to provide a real impact on the society after that. So it's not kind of meeting people It's kind of re-innovation of the system and the innovation of all the and revising how we are doing things. So today we had this opportunity to meet all the pioneers. This first time that this conference happened in Jamaica, and I hope that it will run every year to see all those brilliant guys over there, over here more time.
So tell us your view on this conference.
This was a very, very, very well-run, very educational conference. I'm impressed by the lineup of the masters of cardiology, the wealth of experience they brought to the meeting, and then the overall focus on cardiology management in our setting, our resource poor setting. Most of the presentations, even though we discussed fairly, cutting-edge topics, everything was brought back around to how does it impact the Caribbean people. So I thought it was a very good conference.
What was your topic or topics of focus?
My topic was on women and heart disease and special considerations for Caribbean women.
And that discussion is important because we find that more women in the Caribbean are prone to heart-related diseases. Is that correct?
It is correct. So ischemic heart disease is the #1 cause of death in most of the countries of the Caribbean, and even in Jamaica, where diabetes is said to be the #1 cause of death, that death is mediated through cardiovascular disease. So one of the issues with women is and not just women, but their providers, et cetera, and the public, people tend to think about breast cancer and other gynecological cancers as being their #1 problem. And yes, early on in the reproductive years, that is an issue. But as you get older, cardiovascular disease takes over as the #1 healthcare issue. And when you look at a population as a whole, cardiovascular disease ends up being the leading cause of morbidity and mortality. So when we talk about women and heart disease, it starts from education of the public, public perceptions on women's risk for heart disease, and trying to twist that in people's minds. Even in the primary care setting, a lot of primary care providers don't consider cardiovascular disease risk when they're seeing their patients. They think about doing the pap smears and the mammograms and all of that. But especially as the woman starts to age in their late 40s and 50s, then they need to, that conversation has to be had.
Dr. Coppola, tell us about the discussion that you had today. What was your topic?
We had a very interesting discussion today as part of a session on how to have care collaborations between centers in other areas and the Heart Institute of the Caribbean. And it was a real privilege to think it through. So at my institution, we have 144 cardiologists who all have different expertise. And we discussed how that's a great platform to choose the right people and to find out who wishes to come here and collaborate in care, in training, and in research, and in reciprocally, how to engage HIC and have them visit us. One of the obvious conclusions we came to was that we need to establish a video link. What we can do to have shared care for complex cardiac problems is work together using technology via the internet to review the case, review the images around the case, and help make decisions. That's an obvious first step, and I think it's never been easier to do that. We actually do it with regional hospitals close to Philadelphia, so there's no reason why we couldn't do it here. It's just a matter of setting it up. So that will be the first step, I'd say.
So how important would you say is the kind of exchange like that for not just necessarily cardiology, but medicine in general?
Exchange is essential. I think that if you remain in a silo, if you remain just seeing what you see and treating conditions the way people around you treat them, your scope is limited. And I've been at different centers at different parts of my career. One of the first things you learn is when you go to that new place is what's universally true and what's just sort of local practice that other people have strong feelings about. That becomes very apparent. So that's a benefit to all involved in the exchange. I think it's essential.
So from today's event, what was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is that it all boils down to relationships and true desire to collaborate and exchange. And I think Dr. Ernest Madu has done an amazing job at building relationships, and that will be the key. That will be the key. So that's my take home.
What's one of the most important conversations you think that needs to be had with regards to Caribbean heart health?
I think one of the most important things is knowledge and trust. So I was talking to Dr. Madu, and he actually on the way up showed me an electrocardiogram on his phone from someone who is having a heart attack. People need to understand that a heart attack is an emergency, and no questions asked. You need to get to a center like HIC that can open your artery, and if you don't, you might not make it. So I think there's a lot of education that people need to understand. They also need to understand that you have to collaborate. So I've noticed that there are different cardiovascular and medical programs in the country. I'm a friend of mine, Dr. Michael Boyne, is at the University of West Indies, and I think there's lots of expertise that can be brought together here for the benefit of people. So getting out of the silos, collaborating is probably one of the most important things.
So tell us about the topic that you spoke on today.
Today I talked about sleep and cardiovascular disease. And I like to think of it as the sleeper in heart disease, because many people know of all the traditional risk factors for heart disease: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, being active. But not many people are aware how important it is to have enough sleep. And also, that's number one. And secondly, that there are some sleep disorders, such as sleep breathing disorders, obstructive sleep apnea, that can, if not treated, can cause other cardiovascular diseases.
As it relates to heart treatment generally, and I'm sure you've probably looked at the Caribbean as a whole and some of the issues that may impact Caribbean citizens or black people generally, what are some of the recommendations you may have for the average citizen to take care of their cardiovascular health?
Okay. The first thing I always like to say is definitely know your numbers. You need to know what your blood pressure is. Basics. If you go to the doctor, don't just leave, oh, I had a visit today with a doctor. What was your blood pressure? What was your weight? If the doctor did blood tests, what are the results? What's my cholesterol? What's the good? What's the bad? Know all these numbers for yourself. Based on your weight, are you in line with what it should be? Are you overweight? So take control of your health by knowing all these numbers first. So after you know your numbers, if any of the numbers are out of line, if your blood pressure is too high, definitely seek treatment right away. And a lot of times in the Caribbean, and I hear this often, people say, well, my blood pressure is controlled, so I don't need to take the medication. No, it is controlled because you're taking the medication, so you need to continue taking the medication. And I have problems with relatives of mine. I say, well, are you taking this? They say, well, the prescription ran out. Well, although it ran out, it means you need to continue taking it. So little things like this, I think it's very important.
That concludes our coverage of the Masters of Cardiology event put on by the Heart Institute of the Caribbean in conjunction with the Association of Black Cardiologists. I'm Javon Keys for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector.
To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market, and that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now, in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment, which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Hi, this is Angelique Martin Spencer, Principal and Interior Decorator of ASH, Angelique Spencer Home, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 100, 50 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process? Because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIF, that in 2-3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected, and then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
Hey guys, you're right on time for another episode of Chill Spot, where today we'll be venturing to Somerset Falls in Portland to meet up with Tanya Waldron-Gooden, Senior VP of Investment Banking at Mayberry Investments. Tanya has so much to share, and Portland is calling my name. So don't go anywhere, because this is going to be an episode you won't want to miss. Jamaica is truly a paradise, and Somerset Falls is one of the locations that reminds us of this. We're about to meet up with Tanya, but before we do, here are a few quick facts about her. She's originally from Kingston. She is the eldest of 2 siblings. She's married with a 7-year-old son, and she describes herself as loyal, competitive, and goal-oriented. Her fondest professional memory is moving from a managerial position to a VP position in under 2 years. Now let's go meet up with Tanya. Hi everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Hi Tanya.
Hi, how are you doing?
Nice to meet you, Candy.
This is my husband, Ricardo.
Hi Ricardo. Hi.
Hello, how are you? Mark Graham, Managing Director at Somerset
Hi Mark,
Falls.
nice to meet you. So Tanya, what are we going to be doing today?
I've heard so much about this place. I've heard that it's very relaxing. I'm looking forward to some good company And most of all, I heard about the boat tour to the Hidden Falls, so I'm hoping to get to.
So we're gonna do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some good food.
And some good food, right? You're a foodie.
Of course.
Mark, but tell me a little about Somerset Falls and the activities that you can do here.
Sure, there's a ton to do here. You know, apart from the beauty that you see here, you have the opportunity to take the boat tour, as they were talking about, which I think they're going to be very impressed with. To be able to go up and see the falls, we have several falls that are going up through this river, and to the largest of our waterfalls, which is 32 feet tall, into a hidden cave. We even have seasonal falls that only fall during a certain time, but there's so much more that we, have to offer. Like she said, the rafting that's down on the Daniels River, we have over 90 acres of things that people can do here. We have swimming pools and water slides, and of course the food. Yes. Great drinks, and there's so much more that we have that's coming. Yeah. Once you have water, I'm fine.
You're a water baby?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm definitely looking forward to a nice, relaxing day.
Well, I'm psyched and ready to go. Mark has told me so much wonderful things about this place, and I'm ready to go for a tour.
Let's go for a tour.
All right,
Mark,
enjoy yourselves, okay? Have a great day, okay? Let me know if you need anything. All right.
Coming up,
one of the main challenge is people taking you seriously when you have youth. So youth coupled with being a woman, you tend to have to be steadfast.
Right.
Just basically prove yourself. Know what you're about. My motto is always be prepared.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got.
Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now. Grown
from 20 million US to now having 800 million US dollars.
Knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Those are my tools and my armor.
It's a big men don't cry, right? It's a big men don't cry, right?
We were being robbed some $531,000.
I've been angry to the point where I feel like I would get a vehicle.
This property is so gorgeous.
Boy, it's even more gorgeous than I thought it would be.
And that water, I can't wait to get in, although it might be cold.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
River water makes me feel so fresh. You know, the beach kind of make you feel dirty.
Yeah, but
river
it's
water make you feel
relaxing.
nice.
Yeah, make you relax. So Ricardo gone off somewhere. I think he's gone to the bar to have a drink.
Okay.
So we'll meet up with him later.
No problem. Now I want to talk about the professional side of Tanya. Talk to us about your position at Mayberry.
Well, I am the Senior Vice President for Corporate Finance Research and Special Projects, where most of the time we're looking at private and public companies, whether to structure transactions, to raise debt or equity, and basically help companies develop and grow. And that's our main focus.
How did you get started in this industry?
I started at another financial institution, actually. I was in pension funds management and portfolio management at first. I was the officer, I was the lower level staff at that time. There wasn't any scope for growth, as I saw, so I got an opportunity at Mayberry and I took it. So the opportunity at Mayberry was a management trainee, which I rotated in several departments, and then Mr. Gary Peart started a new unit, which was business development at the time, and special projects. So that's how it started. That developed into what is now corporate finance.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience as a part-time lecturer at the University of Technology.
Well, it has been a very fulfilling experience because I get a chance to teach other professionals and basically guide them through the process of portfolio management and investment analysis, because that's one of the main subject areas I lecture. Many of my students are from the banking profession, and as some may take it for granted that being in banking or investment banking rather means that you actually understand money and the way money works. But it's not always the case. So getting that opportunity to basically give them that guidance through the process of analyzing investments, it's pretty fulfilling.
You've had a very successful career in finance. What would you say has contributed to that success?
One of the major factors was guidance and coaching, and that was done mainly by my seniors. So the opportunity presents itself, and then you basically push forward to engage in the opportunity, seizing the opportunity. And one of my motto is, once a door is open for you, you might assess the door, but then eventually you try to go through it. Right. And that's what I've done. So in starting the unit, business development and special projects, that was just analyzing companies, private companies at the time, and then that developed into the junior market, right. which is, since 2009, we have listed the most junior market companies to date. And I'm happy I've been a part of that. Another accomplishment I would highlight basically is that we got an opportunity to, on the research side of things, because I'm the head of research, we've formed an investment banking team. Right. So research is not just research and regurgitating, but rather looking at structuring things, being the forerunner, making decisions and helping the company to make those decisions.
Now, would you say those are your achievements so far? I know you touched on them a little just now.
At Mayberry, it has been a journey. I started there, as I told you, as management trainee. I got promoted within a year to a manager, then
wow,
senior
within
manager.
A year?
Yes, within a year.
Congratulations.
No problem. Then to senior management.
Right.
But one of my most memorable moments was when I was promoted to the executive team, which was in 2011, when I was promoted to vice president.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but now I'm senior vice president of the unit. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
As a young person in that industry, what would you say are your challenges?
I don't know if I must say this. One of the challenges in a man's world is being a woman. Right. Right. Professionalism must be the forefront of your mind. Right. And one of the main challenges is people taking you seriously when you have youth. So youth coupled with being a woman, you tend to have to be steadfast, right. and just basically prove yourself. Yeah. Know what you're about. Be always prepared. And that's basically it. My motto is always be prepared.
What sort of impact do you hope to have in this industry?
So I'm the business readiness evaluator at the Branson Center, which I do in my, spare time.
So you're part-time because you have a part-time and now it's part of that time.
Yeah. So, but basically it's pro bono, where we look at small companies, very small ventures, where we assist them in getting their business pitch decks ready, which another word for a business plan. So my hope for that is to be able to get them ready enough to be able to come to a Mayberry.
Right, okay.
Enough to strengthen that company to raise capital at that level.
Tanya, what sort of advice would you give to your protege or even to a younger you?
A younger me? Have a little more fun in your youth. Do not take yourself so seriously, but however, be prepared. Always be prepared. Always analyze, assess before you move, while having fun if that's possible. But that's the advice I would give. And also, you can't do so without actually teaching somebody else to do it as well. So that is the advice.
After that fabulous tour and this good conversation, yes. I think I'm ready to hit the water.
I agree. I'm ready for the water.
coming up.
Tanya, what would you say drives you to succeed?
Naturally, I'm competitive. So if you give me something to do, especially if you say I can't do it, I'll push to do it, right? That's innate.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Hi, I'm Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, and you are watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So how was your food?
It was great.
Mine was good too.
Yeah, it was nice. It was good.
Now, Tanya, I want to talk a little about your personal side. So let me start with you. How would you describe her?
I would say that she's very driven. One thing I can say, at home, she puts her mind to something, she's always going to get it done. And I see she does that in every aspect of her life. So, a driven person, that's what I see her as.
How would you describe yourself?
Driven, yes, but a lot of times there's a motivation behind it. So a big factor for me is family. And because work is so demanding, it has to be a work-life balance.
Right.
Kind of person I am, I'm naturally an introvert. Right. I'd prefer to be in a lab somewhere doing something and not necessarily be out there. But since being at Mayberry, it has taught me that being out there is doesn't necessarily mean that you still can't be who you are.
Right.
Yes.
Essentially. And what about your childhood? How were you raised? Do you have siblings?
Yes, I grew up in a nuclear family. 2 siblings, 1 sister, 1 brother. Both parents were there. School, I started out at Richmond Park Prep, graduated to Holy Child High School, and then went on to University of the West Indies.
Okay, and you guys have 1 son together. Tell me about him.
William. Very active. Very, very active. He has taught us that, well, we basically don't need another, right? He did not fool us at all. So he's very outgoing. He's not like us. He swims, he plays karate, but he's very good at swimming. As I said before, nuclear family, one sister, one brother. Me and my sister were very close. Being introverts, both of us are. We used to listen to music, listen to Cyndi Lauper. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, that was our favorite song. And then when we got older, it was Linkin Park. That was another favorite group of ours. And we read a lot. So it was mostly that. Right. My sister, no, she was more of a tomboy than I was. Right. I was a bit of that, but she was like Chinese skip champion. And I was Jack's champion. You know Jack's, right? Yeah. So that was it, basically.
Do you have a fondest childhood memory that you can share with us?
Being selected a Jack's champion in prep school. Yes, it was memorable. It was the first thing I ever won. And it was good. It was a real competition.
Okay, so how did you guys meet now?
Well, we knew each other for a bit, and then we started working at the same place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess spending a lot of time together at work.
Really cemented the relationship.
The friendship at first, and then...
Right. And then it developed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been married now?
10 years.
10 years?
Yes. Why you look so shocked?
Because you look like 25.
No, I'm 36.
Wow, 10 whole years?
Yeah, we celebrated our anniversary last month.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance everything?
Well, basically with both of us in banking, it's quite difficult, but what we try to do is carve out time for each other, including our son. Right. Basically with the date nights, maybe once a month. Sometimes we might skip because of busy schedule, but we try to maintain that. And with William now, we try to take him out. Ricardo is avid in terms of bringing him to the park, more outdoors.
Right. As you said, lots of energy, so the best way to get rid of that is to have
burn it off.
To get rid of it.
Run about.
Yeah, so make him run until he's tired.
And then we capture all of that.
And yeah, because he is into photography, so he captures everything, to my dismay sometimes.
So, I mean, that brings me to my next question. What else do you guys like to do for fun? Photography, and what else?
Primarily photography, and for me, trying to play an instrument.
And he recently bought a guitar.
Oh, wow. And what about you?
I collect music. I'm very much into music. I swim and I read. And I join him in on his musical trials.
His trials, keyword. Tanya, what would you say drives you to succeed?
Naturally, I'm competitive. Right. So if you give me something to do, especially if you say I can't do it, I'll push to do it, right? That's innate. But since William is just being able to, I want him to develop that drive. Right. I want him to succeed, because in this world, you need that kind of focus in order to do so. So that's basically it. That's my drive.
Well, guys, I had the most peaceful and relaxing day here at Somerset Falls. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. It was wonderful.
It was awesome. It was very...
Thanks for sharing it with us too.
Yeah, and it was
so
very...
So was it your first time though?
Second attempt, first time.
We
came here before, but it was closed,
right.
Yes. But yes, we really wanted to enjoy the property.
Well, we did.
Yes. It was it was what we hoped it would be.
Exploring and enjoying my country is always a fun experience, and today was no different. I had fun here at Somerset Falls in Portland, hanging out with Tanya Waldron-Gooden, Senior VP of Investment Banking at Mayberry Investments. We learned about her 9-to-5 and shared in her awesome chill spot. Until next time, I'm Candy. Bye.
Hi, I'm Tanya. Stop it. I'm not laughing. Go again. Stop it.
Hi, good morning, Tanya.
Hi, how are you doing,
Candy?
Candy?
Nice to meet you.
Oh, this is my husband. We totally botched that one, sorry.
Spending time with Tanya Waldron Gooden, Senior VP of... I can't get it. I don't remember. It's too much words. If you push one more button on the camera, come na man.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up a Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access.
I'm Andrew Mathalon, CEO of Mathalon Distributors. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
This week on The Good Life, we'll be discussing the benefits of martial arts as well as other activities offered here at the Iron Lotus Academy of Martial Arts. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and you're watching The Good Life. Martial arts is the ultimate combination of a total body workout and a self-development program that teaches life-saving self-defense skills. The martial arts changes more than your body. It can change your life. I'm here with Matthew Auld, who's a Sifu here at the Iron Lotus Academy of Martial Arts. Hey, Matthew.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Let's get started. Who is a Sifu?
Well, Sifu is the term for instructor or teacher in Chinese Kung Fu.
Okay, so you're a teacher.
Right, I'm a teacher.
Talk to me about your programs here at the Iron Lotus.
Okay, here at Iron Lotus Academy of Martial Arts, we have many programs for children, adults, seniors also. You can do, we start as young as 4 years old with the children, Mondays to Thursdays. And we do traditional Chinese Kung Fu, Chinese weaponry, and light contact sparring for the children. We have a Fit Like a Fighter package for adults, which is a fitness program that's based around martial arts techniques. So we use a lot of exercises, kickboxing training, weight training, body weight training, cardio. And then we have technique-based classes that are martial arts technique classes. You do kickboxing training, so you actually learn how to fight. You learn traditional Chinese Kung Fu, you learn weaponry. We have self-defense workshops that we do, so we teach you how to defend yourself on the street against attackers with knives, guns, somebody's grabbing you, somebody's trying to attack you while in your car, all the different programs.
So let's say I wanted to join a program here. What would I need? What are the requirements?
Well, all you really need to do is come into the school. We're here at the Chinese Benevolent Association. You sign a release form. As long as you don't have any serious medical conditions that would hinder your training, you can come and try a class or sign up for any one of the programs.
So what are the times like?
Well, for children, we start at 2:30 in the afternoons, and adults, we start at 6. So we go from 6 till about 9 o'clock in the evenings.
Do I need to be of a certain fitness level?
No, you don't necessarily have to be a fit person if you are already active or physically active. It's a benefit, you know, it will help you. But our programs are designed for the beginner to the novice to the advanced person. So coming in as a novice, if you've never done any kind of physical activity or this type of activity, the instructors here are very knowledgeable, so they're able to design programs that are suited for you and your abilities. We have people with different limitations. Some people have knee injuries or back injuries. So if the program needs to be adjusted for those, to meet those standards, then we can just do it right there on the spot for you.
What would you say are some benefits of martial arts?
Martial arts training, okay, well, there's a lot of benefits. Starting with children, it helps them to develop their personalities in terms of integrity and discipline, focus, concentration, honesty, awareness mainly. The awareness of themselves and their physical body, how to move and how to act in situations, emotional control, self-control really. So you learn how to control your emotions. You don't get upset if there's a situation. With adults, it's basically the same thing in a more advanced program. Okay. You learn how to, again, defend yourself. You learn how to function in different scenarios. You learn how to handle yourself. You learn how to deal with stressful situations. Some situations may need for you to step back and not approach it in an aggressive stance, and in some situations the only option is to be a little bit more aggressive and fight.
All right, well, it sounds very interesting. So guess what, guys, we're going to a short break. When I come back, I'll be changed out and we're going to do some demonstrations with Matthew. Stick and stay, you're watching Good Life.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Whether you're looking to increase strength, coordination, or confidence, kickboxing is always a kick-ass workout. I'm still here with Matthew at the Iron Lotus Academy of Martial Arts, and he's going to talk to me about kickboxing, maybe a little demonstration, right, Matthew? Sure. So what is kickboxing?
Kickboxing is the sport version of martial arts. So you have many variations on it. You have kickboxing as the fighting competitive styles, and then you have cardio kickboxing, which is a lighter version, but you don't fight, you don't do techniques for fighting, you just do the moves that are involved, punches, kicks, you know, for the cardio benefit.
So what's so special about kickboxing? Why should I, factor that into my workout?
The kickboxing workouts, they're high high intense. They help to improve balance, coordination, speed, timing. Now the good thing about kickboxing is that you're doing something different. You're punching, you're kicking, you're moving. So when you're moving and punching and hitting an object, hitting a bag, it helps you to develop, balance and coordination, and you learn how to move your body in different ways. So while you're exercising and getting a good workout, you're also learning how to move and how to balance and build strength at the same time.
Is it a man or woman kind of sport?
It's actually for anybody. Anybody can do kickboxing. It doesn't matter, male, female.
What about children?
Children do a version of it. In the traditional arts, we call it light sparring. But as they grow up in the art, then it moves into more complicated styles, because kickboxing tends to be a little bit challenging for children because of the combinations, the kicks, and a lot of the movement. So you build them up from the traditional style, then they get more into the more complicated systems.
All right, so let's try.
So here we have a pair of 12-ounce boxing gloves. These are used for weight advantage because you get 12 ounces, which is a little less than a pound, but you also get a protection. So when we do bag work, when you're punching the punching bags, you have protection for your fingers and your knuckles and your hands, so you won't hurt or damage anything. What you want to do is pull the strap and then put your hand in just like a regular glove, but you want to make sure that you get your hand all the way in there, so it's all the way at the top. Good, and then strap it up.
So these gloves are a little bit different from the gloves that you're wearing.
Okay, well, these gloves are for mixed martial arts, another program that we have here, which is all about fighting. We train guys to basically do full contact fighting. It's done in a cage or a boxing ring. We have a couple fighters that travel overseas and they do enter into these tournaments. So these gloves are for a little bit more aggressive style. They can be used for kickboxing, but they don't give as much protection on the bags.
So talk to me about gloves. They come in different sizes?
They come in many different sizes. For training purposes, you generally want a glove anywhere between 12 to 16 ounces. If you have small hands, if you're small stature, then you'd want to get maybe a 10 or 12. And then the bigger guys, if you have bigger hands, you can manage a bigger glove, you can go right up to about a 16-ounce glove. So you could, as you can feel them on the hand, it adds a little bit of weight, but the punching for the rounds and padding for the hands.
Yeah, okay. You mentioned it's high energy. Right. Do I need to go to the doctor and say, look here, doctor, I want to go kickboxing? Can I go?
Generally, before you start any workout program, it's always recommended that you do a physical checkup. So if you haven't done a physical checkup in a while, it's always good. If you're going to start any sort of physical activity, it's always recommended that you do that. And it depends on what program you're getting into. Like I said, we have fitness-based classes that are all just exercise-based around martial technique. So you're doing the techniques that are from martial arts, but incorporating them in weight training, cardio, body weight training, that sort of thing. And then we have the martial art aspect of it, the contact version, which is you learn how to use these punches and these kicks that you see them doing in class. Like if you do a cardio kickboxing class and they're teaching you how to punch, a lot of times when you go to a cardio kickboxing class, the instructor is not a trained martial artist. They just did some cardio kickboxing program, so they can't actually teach you how these punches are supposed to be used, how to punch properly. A lot of them that I've seen, it's a lot of air punching. So if you're punching air, it's different when you start to punch a bag. You have to have the knowledge of, as an instructor, that the fist has to be closed tightly and the gloves are there to protect your hands. So all this comes from martial arts experience. As a martial artist, when I'm teaching kickboxing, you get the knowledge that I have for striking incorporating your workout so you don't hurt yourself. So you have a higher level of training, even if you're not doing any contact and even if you're not doing any sort of fighting, you're still doing the same techniques that a fighter would use, but you know how to use them properly.
Okay, so you're saying when I'm punching people, I should make sure my fists are tightly closed.
Correct, so you don't hurt your hands.
Alrighty, so you want to do a demonstration? Can we do some basic moves?
Okay. Generally, when you start doing any kind of striking or kickboxing, you want to get into your fighting stance. So you're going to put either your right leg back or your left leg back. If you are right-handed, you would put your right leg back. If you're left-handed, you would put your left leg back. You'd stand southpaw, the industry name. Okay, so you're standing orthodox with the right leg back. Next thing, we want to get our hands up. So you want to get your hands up close to either side of your jaw. You're going to close the fist and keep the elbows in. So the back leg is on the ball of the foot, the hands are up. Now we're gonna throw what we call a jab. Jab is off the lead hand. We're gonna jab. This is a very quick, snappy punch. It's not meant for power, it's really very quick. So make sure that you've closed your fist in the glove. All right, and you're gonna relax your arm, relax your shoulder. We're gonna go all the way out and turn the fist, make contact with the bag and come back. There, and we start slow so you can get used to the movement. Good. So you start slow, get your form. We turn the waist a little bit when we punch. Turn the waist a little bit. Good. And once you get a hang of it and you start to feel more comfortable, then you can pick up the intensity. This is how the workout starts to get difficult. You start to go a little faster and go a little harder and get a little bit more power in the punch. So that's going to increase the intensity.
The power is a little too powerful.
Step away from the back, give yourself a little bit more room. Just snap it. You don't have to go hard. You can go a little faster. Good. Good. Put a little bit more contact in there. There you go. The gloves up, add padding. There you go. Good. That's here. That's the jab. So from the jab, we're going to move into the cross, which is the right hand. You want to get the hip to rotate and turn. So this is your power punch. This is the punch that's going to have more power behind it. There you go. Good. And then from there we can start and we can build a very simple combination, which is a jab and a cross. 1, 2. 1, 2. There you go. See? And you start to pick up the pace a little bit. 1, 2. So as a beginner, we tell you to just start light, go slow, get your form down, feel comfortable, and then once you start to feel a little bit, then you start to pick up the pace, you pick up the intensity. Good. So now we have the hands down. Let's put in a kick. Okay? So when you kick in, this is what we call a roundhouse kick. First thing you want to know is pivoting. You want to turn the hip. We want to get that hip around. So we're going to kick with the right leg. You're going to pivot on the ball of the foot. Generally how we start this, you step off and turn the toe out so the knee starts to turn. We're going to pick the leg up and turn and make contact with the bag. There you go. Good. But you want to bring the leg back to your fighting stance. So we kick and come back. Good. You want to get a little bit more extension. Your legs are longer than your arms, so you can be a little further from the bag when you kick. There you go. Good. That's a good kick. So let's put it all together. Left, right, adjust the leg and kick. Perfect. 1, 2. Good. And kick. Good, and that's a good way to start. So you notice that you're having a little issue with your balance, because when you kick, you're on one leg and then you find yourself trying to regain your balance. This is where the balance and coordination comes together, because now you have to go and be able to come back. So after a lot of repetitions of doing combinations like this, you develop much better balance. You learn how to move. A lot of times we'll do 4 or 5 3-minute rounds. So you're going for 3 minutes and then you rest and then you go again. So this is where the cardio and endurance comes in, because going hard and fast like that for that amount of time takes a lot of energy and it helps to build the stamina, and while you're building coordination and speed and timing and balance.
I know you have more after the break, Matthew, so we're going to a very short break, guys. Stick and stay, you're watching The Good Life. And we're going back to the backs, the backs. The kicks, the kicks. Oh, oh.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4 walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful. and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to The Good Life. I'm still here with Matthew at the Iron Lotus Academy of Martial Arts. So Matthew's going to tell me a little bit about Tai Chi.
Okay, Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a traditional Chinese martial art. It originated in China about 2,000 years ago. Presently, it is not practiced so much as a martial art anymore. It's more done for exercise. And what they have noticed over the years from studies, a lot of studies that have done on Tai Chi, is that the practice of Tai Chi helps to lower blood pressure, it helps with heart disease, it helps with diabetes, it helps with stress relief. It also helps with recovering from major surgery. You know, it's recommended. There was an article done by the Harvard Medical Society, and they said that the studies of Tai Chi show that patients that were recovering from chemotherapy actually, and that practiced Tai Chi, their recovery was much better and faster than those that didn't do Tai Chi. So it has a lot of health benefits. So it's more done these days as a exercise to promote health.
Let's go through some basic movements then.
Well, just to let you know, Tai Chi is done very slowly. You focus a lot on the breathing and you try to maintain a very relaxed state. A good name or a good description for Tai Chi is moving meditation. So we're going to start, we're just going to bend the knees first, and you want your shoulders to be relaxed. You don't want to keep your shoulders pressed back, you want to relax your shoulders. Good. Now the breathing in Tai Chi is very important. So we breathe through the nose. You close the mouth and let your tongue touch the roof of your mouth. You do this by letting your teeth touch when you close your mouth. So your mouth is closed, your teeth are touching, the tongue is at the roof of the mouth, and we're going to breathe. Let's do a couple of breaths. So inhale slowly. And then exhale. You can breathe out through the mouth very slowly. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale. Good, now we start to incorporate the hand movements in there. So we turn the palms up, and while we breathe in, inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, With the arms down slowly. And then we bend very slowly. Bend the knees when we're going down. And then inhale up, breathe. Exhale. And you try to coordinate the breathing with the movements. Inhale, slow and gentle. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Good, and this time we're gonna close. We just separate the hands and we step back together. Good. These are one of the basic warm-up exercises that we do in Tai Chi. I'm gonna take you through another one and then I'll start you on the form. Okay? So we're gonna bend the knees. Here, open. Good. Now we're gonna circle, arm up, and turn the palm, go out, let the arm fall. Good. And then while that one is falling, we're gonna bring up the other arm up, turn the palm. Good. And we're trying to breathe at the same time. Inhale up, exhale down, and you're inhaling, inhale up, exhale down, inhale, nice and slow and relaxed. Good. Now we start to incorporate waist and we start to turn. You start to turn and just follow the hand. Good. Turn. So you're a little bit tense. Don't open the fingers, just relax them. Good. Don't spread them wide because that's going to put tension on the muscles. The whole idea behind Tai Chi is to try to relax as much as you can when you're moving. Very slow. Good. You want to bend the knees very slightly. Good. Slight bend in the knees, turn in the waist. Good. As you gradually get better at it, you get a little bit more fluid. Good. Slow. This particular move is called cloud hands. And it may not look like it, but it's actually, there's martial application here. Good. Back to the center, knees slightly bent, together, and close. Good. Okay, so we're going to take you through a very short piece of the form. So you can follow me. So we start, feet together. We're going to open, bend the knees. Here, we're going to raise the arms up. Bend the knees, and sink. Good. You're going to shift your weight over. Don't go too low. And we're going to do a move we call holding the ball. Very good. We're going to bring the leg in. Good. Now we're going to step out. Step out. Good. And start to push across, past the hands. You want to shift the weight. Shift the weight over. Good. But don't go too high. Lower. Good. And come back. Let's go. One more time. This is this very first set of movements in a short form. Style that we do is called Yang style Tai Chi. Yang is one of the more popular styles in the West. You have three styles, main styles: Yang, Chen, which is one of the oldest ones, and Wu. Shift the weight, pass the hand.